Good evening, Medford Township families and future kindergarten students. I'm Kira Scusa, Superintendent of Schools, and welcome to our annual Kindergarten Parent Information Night. Before we get started, I would like to recognize some of our staff members who are responsible for putting this evening's planning and programming together. Ms. Megan Shelley, our Supervisor of Literacy Instruction. She has been involved in planning and facilitating this night, along with Ms. Melissa Slocum, who is a kindergarten teacher at Kirby's Mill. I'd also like to recognize Mr. Andrew King, District Media Production Specialist, and Ms. Christina Watson, our District Registrar. Thank you to this team for all they contributed to make this night possible. The purpose of tonight's event is to provide an overview of what kindergarten looks like today. It's surely different from the program we all experienced years ago. We will not be discussing your child's daily schedule, lunch and recess, or school-wide procedures. All of this information will be discussed in person at Kindergarten Roundup in the spring. Throughout this evening, we will be showing videos of our kindergarten teachers and classrooms in action. As you view, please take note of the kindergarten readiness activities that you can do with your child at home. Before turning the program over to Ms. Shelley, I want to share with you this is the first of a few events we have planned to assist you and your child in making a smooth transition to kindergarten. Next up is Kindergarten Roundup, which will be held in early spring. Dates and times will be forthcoming from your child's principal. This will be an opportunity for you and your child to meet the principal, kindergarten teachers and support staff, and learn all about kindergarten and their new school. I want to thank you for spending your time this evening watching this video. We are thrilled to have you join our MTPS family and look forward to working with you and your child throughout their time in Medford schools.
Thank you, Mrs. Scusa. Good evening and welcome to Kindergarten Information Night. My name is Megan Shelley and I am the Supervisor of Instruction for Medford Township Schools. Previously, I've had the pleasure to present at this night. However, tonight I have the honor to introduce some very special people, the Medford Township Public Schools kindergarten teachers. Over the next half hour or so, these educators will share information about what your child will be experiencing daily. Reading, writing, math, word study, learning through play, and building world language. Before each segment, you will view a video that supports the content area. Please don't panic. These videos take place mid-year. This is not what September looks like. Now is the time. Grab your popcorn, sit back, and enjoy getting to know the kindergarten in Medford.
So shared reading, it's an important part of our kindergarten day, and it's when the entire class interacts with the text. So we introduce things like sight words and conventions, and we read it many, many times. So we don't see it just once, we see it all the time throughout the week.
Here we go. Look what I see.
Look what I see.
I see an octopus.
I see an
It includes big books, it includes charts and poems. It's something that the whole class can see, so it has to be visible for everybody.
I go on a fire truck.
Ooh, ah.
Ooh, ah.
Shared reading emphasizes looking for word wall words in text. It emphasizes how to use reading strategies by the teacher modeling that through shared reading. And it also helps the children learn fluency by listening to the teacher read.
Run, 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 as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. And off he ran.
In shared reading, the children are also introduced to different types of text, fiction text, nonfiction text, biographies, as well as fantasy stories and fictional stories. They're also taught the storyline, the setting of the story, the problems in the story, so that they're able to retell stories on their own.
Read aloud is helping students to notice the important points of a nonfiction text or a fiction text, or things that we just need to talk about. We need to discuss. What's the point of the story? What's happening in the story? What are you noticing? Are you inferring anything? What predictions do you have?
And what's a nonfiction text or a nonfiction book? What does that mean? Gianna, what does that mean?
It means that we're talking about a real thing.
We are talking about real things.
Shared reading is important. It builds a bridge to guided reading.
We're going to see our sight words. Read them with me. With me. Now remember, when we read with, we use the TH, with, like our thought. Guided reading is an important part of our day in kindergarten. We get the chance to meet in small groups and work on reading books that are at our just right level. And by choosing books that are at our just right level, we get a chance to practice various reading strategies to help us become better readers. A lot of our books early on in guided reading offer a lot of our sight words, and the reason that we have a lot of the sight words is that that's familiar words that we have been practicing throughout the year. That word was grandma. What did you? Maya used her reading strategy of looking at the picture. She looked at the person.
And the bottom line is to make reading enjoyable for our students.
Hi parents, I'm Mrs. Raffenecker and I teach kindergarten here at Taunton Forge. And today I'm going to talk to you about what reading looks like in the kindergarten classroom. And let me tell you, kindergarten has changed a great deal over these past years. And I want you to see what it looks like now for your child who will be joining our team. In Medford, we follow a Reader's Workshop model. And Reader's Workshop is about modeling and practicing. And when we come in September, we take a lot of time to set up the procedures and the routines so that we can make Reader's Workshop successful. And I just want to go over a little bit of what our Reader's Workshop model looks like. It happens every day for 60 minutes, and at the very beginning, we usually come here and we meet on the carpet, and this is where we make a connection to possibly a text that we read before, or maybe even a personal connection. And then we have our mini lesson. And this is where we focus on a skill or a strategy that we want our child to use as a strong reader. And then after that, this is where we have our guided practice, and the students are watching us model what it looks like and sounds like to be a good reader. And then the students will have a time to do independent reading, where they're using that skill and strategy that they just learned about, and they're using their reading bags and their book bins to practice that new skill and strategy. And then after that time, the kiddos have a chance to come back to the carpet, and this is where we share and we have the opportunity to highlight the strengths and what we noticed them using during reading time. As I mentioned, during that Reader's Workshop model, the children have that independent reading time. And during that independent reading time, students participate in the Daily Five. And this is a time where they're going to move through 5 literacy centers. Those are read to self, read to someone, listen to reading, word work, and work on writing. During Read to Self, that's what it just sounds like. Students will read from their reading bags, their reading binders. They get a chance to read those little bins and read across multiple genres. Then there's Read to Someone. This is where they're reading with a friend. This offers accountability and confidence, where they get a chance to share and discuss and even help each other. Word work is where we're working with our high frequency words, looking for the different parts of the words, and even being able to do some hands-on activity and manipulate those words. Work on writing. In the beginning of the year, we are working on that letter formation. We are working on sentence structure and conventions. We are then moving into writing stories. We will write nonfiction, all about books and how-to books, and then we have our listen to reading. And this is where students get a chance to listen to books on CDs or the iPad, and this really helps with them hearing fluent reading as well as hearing new vocabulary. And then another part of our day is shared reading. And this is a special time where we really get a chance to dissect the text, whether we are reading poems or nursery rhymes, big books, anything. This is where we are looking at the text line by line. We are looking for patterns. We are looking for our high frequency words, rhyming words, our punctuation. And this is also where the students get a chance to participate and practice in that fluent reading. Throughout the day, we read at all different levels through our shared read alouds. And this allows us to share some special books that we love and model that fluency for our students, as well as build those comprehension skills. And as you can see, reading plays an important role in the kindergarten classroom. And reading truly comes to life in kindergarten. And one of my favorite quotes is that children are made readers on the laps of their parents. So we ask that you continue to read to your child every day. Guided reading takes place 3 to 4 days a week. We meet in a small group right here, and this is where the students are grouped at the same level because they have similar reading habits. And each time the group meets, we get a new book, and that's just right for them. We introduce a new skill, or we teach something or reteach something in a typical guided reading lesson. We will do a book intro. Then the children, they have the chance to whisper read, and this is where we get a chance to listen in and prompt the individual students when any errors are made to promote that self-correcting independently on the child's part. And this prompting teaches the students to be able to use those strategies that we have been learning during reading workshop and help them become independent readers. We want to make sure that we're using these strategies to help build strong, fluent readers. And then the last part is that we usually will start to talk about the text, and we're asking those comprehension skills, those higher level thinking. And then students in kindergarten begin in a level A and we move through to a level E. Now, a level A text, it's simple, it's built with mostly high frequency words. We're really working on training our eyes to read across the text in that left to right direction. And you'll notice that the books have a lot of strong picture support. It's telling the story. As we move through to level B, we'll begin to notice there's more high frequency words. We will be introduced to some different punctuation. The pictures still support the story, and we begin to notice a pattern of predictable text. Once we move into level C, which is where we usually tend to stay for a little bit, we are using our eyes to read. We are taking our finger out of the book. We begin to read for meaning. We start to notice that there is dialogue, and we're really beginning to focus more on fluent reading and building our stamina. Once we get to level D and E, we are reading for meaning and building those strong comprehension and fluency skills as the structure of the story is more advanced.
Hi, I'm Amy Caputo. I am a kindergarten teacher at Cherville School, and I'd love to talk to you about sight words today. Sight words are a vital part of the kindergarten curriculum. Letters and sounds and sight words are the building blocks for reading and writing. Sight word instruction will start in September, and we will begin with the words I, C, and A. There'll be about 2 or 3 sight words each week that are introduced to your child in school, and there's a total of 80 sight words in kindergarten. The order in which the sight words are taught is an intentional order because they are the most commonly used words in the guided reading books that we use. The children will need to be able to read, spell, and write the sight words in school daily. And we use a hands-on approach when we practice this. We use magnet letters, we use Play-Doh, and stamps while they practice. The teachers will ask you to practice sight words at home as well, and we'll give you lots of resources and ideas about how to do that. Last, the sight words are displayed on a word wall in the classroom as a resource for all the children to use when they are reading and writing.
All right, friends, please repeat after me. A, apple, A.
A, apple, A.
B, bat, B.
B, bat, B.
C, cat, K.
C, cat, K.
I'm going to give you the word and I would like you to repeat after me. Here we go. Mop.
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 Watch me. Op. You try. Op.
We do Writer's Workshop every day, and this builds a strong foundation for the children in reading and writing. Every day in Writing Workshop, we begin with a focus lesson, and what that is the children listen on the rug, and we talk about the day's point. One way to add more detail to our stories is to have our characters talk, and this is so exciting. Draw the speech bubble around. It kind of looks like a circle and it has a point and it's coming out of my mouth. In Writer's Workshop, We start out with a focus lesson, and the children bring their background knowledge into the day's lesson. So for today, we were talking about speech bubbles. So the children have their own writing folders, they go back to their tables, and they write about their experience. So we are guiding them to be the best writers that they can be. This way, it builds a classroom community because we are learning about them as writers and also the children as themselves.
And this literacy independence is helping them with their fluency. It's helping them with their stamina. It's helping them learn to love reading and writing. So when we do word work, they are actually great at taking their packet and they know which activities to do.
Writing every day builds a strong foundation for literacy. Children are reading every day and writing, and the combination of the two, they have a strong background to help them be the best that they can be.
Hi friends, I'm Leslie Irwin. I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Taunton Forge. I've been teaching kindergarten for, I think, about 10 years now. It's been a while, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about writing and what you're going to see from your child when they start kindergarten next year. So I'm excited to share some things with you. We want to give you an idea, like I said, about the experience that your children will have in kindergarten with writing, and we're going to give you some practical and easy, fun activities you can do with your child to get them ready throughout the summer for kindergarten. So in kindergarten, we start with handwriting. That's really important because we can't write words without knowing how to form our letters. So we use something called the verbal path, and that's something that helps the children learn how to say their letters. Like for the letter H, pull down, across, and down, H. And when we do that, it helps them get it up here and they remember it that way. So the verbal path is really, really important for having them form their letters, and it's quick, it's only a couple letters. We'll share it with you, but letter formation we will help the children with. So we're going to help with that as we get started, and throughout the beginning of the year we're going to be working on that. We'll work on it throughout the whole year, but that's really important so we can lay the groundwork for getting our words and writing for Writing Workshop, because Writing Workshop it's amazing. You'll see such a transformation in your child from September to June in their writing. It's awesome. We're so excited. I can't wait to share with you. But for the summer, don't worry about the lines. Don't worry about the formation of the letters. We just ask that maybe you could have them start at the top when they're writing their letters. We don't want to see what we call a push-up, where you push up and then we want to make sure that they have it ingrained in their noodle that they pull down to write their letters. So something that I want to talk about once we're finished with that letter formation is the Writing Workshop. And we do start Writing Workshop from day one, but it looks a little bit different. It's just getting those pictures on the paper and writing the sounds. Maybe they hear some sounds. So it's a great start, and the great thing about Writing Workshop is they start where they're comfortable. So that's why we love it. I want to talk to you about the writing development continuum. I call this like a developmental scale. I'm prefacing it by saying that every student is different. Every child is different. Not everyone will be at the same place at the same time. And usually when kindergarten starts, sometimes we see friends, they come in, the continuum starts with scribbles. So you would just see like a little bit of a scribble. And then it would be a scribble with letters. So you would see maybe like an E, or the beginning form of an E with an I maybe. And then you see a string of letters. So your child will know what they're saying. They'll say, oh, I went to the store. And you will see E, F, W, L, G. It's one big string, but that's developmentally appropriate. So that's where they are on the continuum. And then we'll see sometimes your child will copy words from the environment. We call that environmental print. Like they'll see something at home like mom, and they'll copy it and they'll write mom. And then they will use initial sounds to represent an entire word. So if they said, oh mom, look, I wrote I love cats, you'll see I, L, and C. That's how they're saying I love cats. That's how they're writing it. once they do the initial sounds, you'll see ending sounds as well. So then on the continuum, it's the ending sounds that go with it. So I love cats would be I-L-V for love, and cats would be C-T. So that's what they would hear. So cats would be C-S. So they would say, I love cats, and you would see I-L-V-C-S. And then you will see at the end of the continuum, your child's using sound spelling, and it may include some vowels. You may see some vowels in there. So I love cats, you would see I, and then you would see for love L-O-V, and then cats would be C-A-T with the S. So there's a continuum. There's the developmental progress that you'll see throughout kindergarten. Now, in kindergarten, we do 3 types of writing. The writing that we cover in kindergarten, we do narrative writing, and this is really important for kindergarten. It's writing about events that happen to them. So we talk a lot about what they've done in their life, and then we write it. We put it on paper. We do informative writing. We write how-to books, like how to brush your teeth or how to make a sandwich. You'll see a lot of books like that. And we also write all about books, like what do you know a lot about? Oh, I know a lot about soccer. All about soccer. So we'll write books about that. And we'll also we have opinion writing. So sometimes we'll maybe listen to a book on tape, or I should say CD. We'll listen to a book on CD, and then they'll have to respond to that book. So if we read The Pigeon Goes to School, we would have to say, well, what do you think the pigeon liked the best about school? Well, the pigeon liked snack. Or, did you like this book? Why did you like this book? And they would respond. So those are the 3 types of writing that we'll do in kindergarten. And I have to say, you will be amazed at the progress you will see in your child's writing throughout the year. It is wonderful. So I have to say, please try not to fix their work. It's so hard. Sometimes you're like, well, wait, they didn't spell that right. In kindergarten, we call this inventive spelling. Inventive spelling is so important, and it's what the child hears. That's what they're putting on the paper, and that's okay. So that's a super important thing to remember when your child's writing. Whatever they're putting down, that's okay, because that's where they are developmentally. So that's something that we strive for when we're doing our writing workshop in the classroom, and I'll show you a picture of what that looks like. Now, there are some things that you could do to help your child get ready for kindergarten writing. I'm going to show you some things that we recommend you do, like learning how to write your name for your child. That's important, with a capital letter, and then the rest are lowercase. So we'll share some of those things with you. You can actually have a writing bin at home. This is something really fun. The dollar store has so many great writing things that you can use at home. Highlighters, crayons, markers, sparkly pencils. There's so many wonderful things, and there's so much fun paper you can buy there. And if you just get a little bin and you put some fun things in there with your child, they can use those things and they'll get excited about writing. So, and you can, the most important thing about writing though is talking about what they're going to write about. So you want to say, hey, what did we do yesterday? That's right, we went to the park. Well, what did we do at the park? We went on the swings. We did go on the swings. We went really high. Well, let's try to write about that. And then they'll draw a picture to match. So those are some fun things that you can do to get your child ready for kindergarten. Make sure that you're talking about the things that you do so they have ideas that they can write about, and make sure you're making it fun. We always try to make it fun here in kindergarten. So I'm excited to be with your child next year, and I hope that you enjoy the progress that you see when they come home with their writing.
In Medford, we use the Envisions math program. We really enjoy using this program in kindergarten because it offers a lot of different levels of learning and instruction for students. We begin a lesson using the Solve and Share, which is the front page of our math lesson that students work on, and that allows kids to kind of try a problem on their own before they get started with the lesson. From there, we move on to something called the Visual Learning Bridge, which looks a lot like a short video of instruction that students watch in a whole group with their teacher. And from there, we move on to something called guided practice, where we're helping the students through some of the problems, and then they move on to the independent portion, where we kind of set them off to try it on their own. From there, what's really great in our classrooms is we're able to split into centers and math games, and during this time, teachers can pull smaller groups that are more differentiated to help meet students' needs. For example, if we were working on basic addition and there was a group of students that needed a little bit more practice, this would be a great time for the teacher to meet with those students. Topics we cover in kindergarten include number recognition, writing numbers, basic addition, basic subtraction, decomposing numbers within 10 and the teen numbers, as well as greater than, less than, and then towards the end of the year we get into classifying, sorting, shapes, and all of that. So we enjoy this program because it really highlights the importance of getting to the process of getting to an answer and not just coming up with an answer. And we do that through all of those steps of the math lesson that I mentioned previously, where we hold their hands a little bit more in the beginning of the lesson, and by the end they're off on their own working, and then even enjoying some games with their peers, working on those skills.
10 is the whole. 10 is the whole. What are your two parts? Good, thanks, Addie. Some are red, some are yellow. Go ahead and fill that bus in. Tell me your two parts. Good job, Jack. Rosie. Nice job.
Write a 7 for 7 yellow shirts. Write a 3 for 3 red shirts.
6 yellow. Can you please color in 6 yellow counters?
Hi, I'm Melissa Slocum, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Kirby's Mill School in Medford. I'm here to talk to you about talking with your student. To prepare your child for kindergarten, the most important thing that you can do is talk to them. As simple as that sounds, it is the most important thing you can do to get your child ready to read and write as they enter school. In order to write sentences and read sentences, children need to be able to speak in sentences. So, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get your child to talk, and talk so they can get ready to read and write. Since so many of us have been spending time in our homes, I figure it would be a natural way for you to help your child talk. We're going to travel through each room of your house and give you activities to encourage talking with your child. Let's start in the dining room or kitchen. In the dining room and kitchen, at dinner time, you could have conversations about your child, highs and lows. Each day when they come home and you're at the dinner table, ask them what their high was. What was the best thing that happened to them that day? And then ask them their low. What was something that wasn't so great? Make sure to ask them to speak in full sentences. Instead of asking a WH question like who, what, where, or when, say, tell me more about, and get your child that opportunity to speak. Make sure you share your day with them as well. You would be surprised how many kindergartners don't know what their parents' jobs are. Talk about what you do during the day. What's your job? What are your responsibilities? Build that vocabulary with them. Let's move to the family room and the living room. Here, label furniture. As silly as that sounds, children need to start to put things in categories. So labeling furniture, end table, couch, coffee table, those things will not only promote talking and building vocabulary, but it will teach them about letters and words. So label that furniture and have fun doing it. Also, have your children call their grandparents, their aunts and uncles on the telephone. Teach them how to have a telephone conversation, what that means to ask a question, get an answer, talk about the answer they give. We're in a world of texting and emails. Teach your child how to have a phone conversation. How about in that home office or wherever your desk is in your home? Have your children look at a calendar. Talk about the days of the week, the months of the year. Talk to them about seasons and holidays. Let them know that there's a difference between winter and Christmas. If you do that on a daily basis, your children will be able to talk about today is Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. Build that vocabulary with them. Remember, the goal is for them to read and write. If they can talk, they can read and write. Even the laundry room can be a place to promote verbal skills. Sort laundry. Why are we putting all these clothes together? Oh, they all have zippers. This pile is short sleeves. That's long sleeves. That's your sister's clothes. That's Dad's clothes. These are the dark clothes. These are the white clothes. Have your children talk about those categories. That will not only help them with their reading and writing, it will help with their math skills. Remember, talk, talk, talk. Even when you're in the car at that garage and you take your ride in the car, play rhyming games. I see a tree. Can you think of a word that rhymes with tree? Bee. Bee rhymes with tree. The car is a great time to talk with your child and build those rhyming skills. You could even do letter hunts. I see a letter A on that sign. Can you find a sign that has a letter B as you drive down the road? Great! You found the letter B. Now find the letter C and go through the whole alphabet. The idea again is to build that verbal language. Even when you go into the attic or the basement, look at old photos. Talk about what's happening in the photo. Make your child speak in full sentences. That was the day we went to the zoo and we saw the elephant. Remember how it was splashing in the water? Make them use those full sentences to speak so that when it comes time to write, they'll be able to write in full sentences. The bedroom. In that place, read, read, read. There's nothing like a nighttime story. Ask them questions about the books they're reading. Ask them deep questions, though, not a question that can be answered with one word. What was your favorite part and why? Was this book a book that you liked? When they say yes, make them tell you why. Get away from words like, it was good. What's another word you could use for good? Enrich that vocabulary. The stairs. Yes, even the stairs in your home can be a place to build verbal skills. Put a picture on each step, maybe a picture of animals on each step. As your child walks up each step, they have to say something about the animal. Not just naming it, but telling you something about it. Oh, that's a dog. Dogs have tails. This dog has spots. Make them stretch their thinking out. The bathroom. The bathroom is a great place to teach sequencing. What do we do when we brush our teeth? What do we do first, next, then last? When we wash our hair, what are the steps that we do? Make your child talk through those actions so they can tell others how to do that. That's a great way to build verbal language. Finally, the kitchen, the hub of anybody's home. This is a great place to talk about problem solving. Oh my goodness, I spilled on the floor. What should we do? Talk through that problem solving with your child. Even if you have to model and they repeat it back to you, it's building those verbal skills. So all this information is going to be on the district website, the activities that I've talked to you about, and even more, so that you can use your home to help your child build their verbal skills. Remember, children need to be able to talk in full sentences in order to read and write full sentences. That's one of the best things you can do to prepare your child for kindergarten.
Ooh, Mason, what are you making over here?
I think we're making a sandwich.
A sandwich? Good. Okay, what things do we need from the market? What do we call it? What do we need?
Okay.
We need all those things? Oh my goodness, well, where can we find them?
What are we building over here, gentlemen? Building Atlantic City? Do we have enough blocks to build Atlantic City? We're gonna find out. Jilly, you getting it? How many blocks do you have over there, Jilly?
I only have one.
You only have one? Keep going. Now you got two.
Make sure you don't hit my
Now you got three.
Oh, come on, come in. No. It'll all pop, it'll poof, it'll blow your house in. First, next, then last.
I hope you enjoyed this evening's information session. There is a lot of information to take in. This link will be available on our website. A few reminders. On our website, under the Parent tab, you will find the Incoming Kindergarten Information tab. Here, you will find upcoming events, kindergarten registration information, read-alouds by kindergarten teachers and reading specialists, tonight's presentation, as well as activities you can do with your child to prepare them for kindergarten. Take some time to explore our website. Finally, please visit our website to complete our online pre-registration form. Once this is completed, you will be contacted by our registrar, Christina Watson, via email to schedule your kindergarten registration appointment and given further information. We look forward to you and your child joining our Medford family next year. Speaking of family, here's our Medford kindergarten family. Take a moment to meet the kindergarten teachers and take a sneak peek into their classrooms.
Hi, kindergarten families. Welcome to Allen School. You're going to get to see a couple of our kindergarten classrooms and some of the things that we do in here.
Welcome to kindergarten.
part of the day is math. Reading in my browsing box. My favorite part of kindergarten is writing stories. Today's part of the day is math. In kindergarten, I learned how to read and write my sight words. In kindergarten, I learned subtraction and plus. In kindergarten, I learned how to write sentences and read.
Thank you for your time this evening. It has been a pleasure.